Hey there, we're Geek Epiphany and we're not in another castle. They're the games that you never forgot, though time may have.
Yes, timeless classic or not, these are the games that we fondly remember in this era of CGI and photorealism.
Today, we'll be looking at those games that need to be revisited, or at least brought off the shelf and put in your favorite retro console.
So blow the dust off those contacts and change the dial on your CRT TV to Channel 3. It's Geek Epiphany's Video Game Retro Revival. Alright, so guys, retro games. I mean, we all grew up with video game consoles, and as kids, we all had our favorites. Some of those favorites might have grown up with us. We got new installments very regularly, and some probably did, more likely than not. So let's go back in time. Let's find those classics that have just kind of been left on the roadside, and let's see what we can do to bring them back into the public eye. So, Mike, would you like to lead us off?
Sure thing. So, thinking about this one, I picked something a little more obscure, but I think this one's an overlooked classic. This goes back to Rare's catalog in the Nintendo 64 days, a little game called BlastCore. The purpose of this game was there was a runaway nuclear truck that was run on pilot and it couldn't be stopped unless all the buildings in front of it were knocked down so you could clear a path to the end. So naturally, you worked as part of the elite team of the BlastCore, who would take construction vehicles and giant robots and smash buildings and clear a path for this thing so it could get to its final destination where it would stop and be decommissioned. This was an incredibly fun game to play, very inventive. It seems like a simple concept, but the sheer variety of vehicles available and the gameplay was just rock solid. And the game could be replayed a number of times.
Yeah, I remember this game too, and it was delightful. The premise basically being to stop this nuclear truck as it was moving towards its destination, but the premise was basically break everything in the stage with a variety of different vehicles. So you could use dump trucks that have like weird rear spinning powers. You could use mechs or motorcycles and all sorts of fun stuff. And then if you beat the game, what I thought was fascinating and phenomenal in this day and age, if you think about it, was that the primary game was like, oh, save the planet Earth. Here are the primary stages on Earth. If you beat all those stages and you got like really high scores in all of them, you unlocked different planets outside of Earth. So you'd start wrecking crap on the moon. You'd start wrecking stuff on Saturn. And I'm not going to make the Uranus joke because that one's obvious. But like basically you went across the solar system just crushing stuff. And it was awesome. It was really fun because it gave you sandbox physics on Earth saying, hey, blow stuff up. And then it opened it up and said, hey, you played it so much. Here's a completely different set of stages. And it wasn't one or two. It was like 20 plus. It was almost a whole nother game where the physics have changed. And so you actually get to explore the game with different ways to play it. It was a blast. I think it definitely could come back, especially with modern graphics and particle effects.
Right, and that's what got me thinking about this the most was really the gameplay itself was solid. Even the bonus mini games where you just raced, there were hidden vehicles that were all pop culture references, like the A-Team van and things like that. And they were time trials. So what I thought would really make this a good retro revival would, with the processing power of today's modern consoles, just to see the physics it would be able to go into this kind of game. Plus, pop culture references have just become bigger and bigger and bigger as time went on. You could have all sorts of fun Easter eggs with just like the little ones that BlastCore had. So that is why I think BlastCore would make an excellent retro revival.
Yep.
The idea of the replayability you mentioned is a big plus, you know, because you don't get that in a lot of games today. You don't get like a whole nother game after you beat the first game.
Yeah, unless it's like DLC and it costs you another $10 to $15.
Yeah, exactly.
Or you're playing Bravely Default, but that's not here to there.
For my game, I'm reaching back here to the Nintendo and technically the Sega Genesis. There is a gem that I think has gone underlooked for a long time, and that is BlasterMaster. Now, BlasterMaster came out around the middle of the life cycle of the original NES, and it was a game that kind of combined the best of Metroidvanias and the best of side-scrolling shooters. And it was way ahead of its time, where you basically piloted a tank, and you shot a bunch of stuff, and then you explored caves with said tank, and the caves were like, mazes. You had to kind of figure out where they went and where they ended, and then you had to power up the tank. The way you powered up the tank, you found the entrance to like a temple or a subterranean dungeon, and you left the tank, went into the dungeon, and in the dungeon, the whole perspective changed to a top-down isometric, where you then crawled through the dungeon and explored it, and eventually fought a boss, and when you fought that boss and beat it, you get a tank part, which then unlocked more of the game. And it was rinse and repeat through, I think, 7 or 8 stages.
It was also pretty difficult.
Yes.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
No. It was insanely difficult, and it had. It was
It was
honestly,
a tough one.
Yeah,
It was.
If you guys want, go ahead and play it. I know Dark Souls is really difficult, but like BlasterMaster is just it's unbelievably. It's problematic because just exploring the game is hard because you have to remember like where was that entrance and exit? Where can I use that ability? Anyway, I just think it would be fun to have a game that basically had you controlling some kind of giant vehicle that you outside that vehicle were just tissue paper. You were going to be eaten up and thrown away. But then that vehicle would get you to where you needed to go. So, like, let's say Overworld of Hyrule and Epona, but Epona was a tank. And then you had to ride Epona to the temple, and then you got out of the temple and went inside, and from there it's just Legend of Zelda.
So Richard, would you like to see it remade or?
Yes.
Okay.
Like, I wouldn't, honestly, I just love to see it back with some kind of, like, updated graphics. Obviously, 8-bit's fine, but there's a lot to play with there. And with a lot of the indie games that are coming out, there's a lot of Metroidvanias, there's a lot of, like, side-scroller shooters. I don't think anyone's really tried to put them together in the same fashion that one was put together. So, I don't know. I think that it's a really good formula that can use some re-exploration.
So here's a detail question for you, though. Would you want them to take the plot seriously out of the original Japanese release where it was a straight sci-fi game? Or do you want this to be about a boy and his missing pet frog?
Just mutated.
Like the books. Because there was a book line.
Oh, that wasn't even the books. That was the NES, man.
That was the NES?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, mutated missing pet frog.
Oh my goodness.
Uh-huh.
As a kid, I remember reading the books and playing the game, and I've crossed the two over. So, but honestly, I don't even care. You can do whatever story you want. It could be about a missing frog. It could be about like
just give him BlasterMaster.
Just give me BlasterMaster.
Right.
I want to shoot stuff with the tank and then upgrade it and shoot more stuff.
Okay.
Hey, sounds like a good time to me.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Bit of a different route. Growing up, I played a lot of RPGs, Japanese RPGs to be specific.
You're our guy for that, that's for sure.
Yeah, you are the expert there.
And I think one game that I'm surprised hasn't been remade, it's been ported a number of times, but we really haven't gotten a remake of that, and it happens to be my favorite game in the series, and that would be Final Fantasy VI.
Really?
Final Fantasy VI, gem of a Super Nintendo RPG, and it came out around that time where you also got Chrono Trigger and Super Mario RPG and Secret of Mana. Square was just churning them out back in the day, and they were all great. Final Fantasy VI still remains my favorite, though.
A lot of fans, too. It's their favorite, too, in terms of story and gameplay.
Music, don't forget the music.
Yeah.
Excellent music.
Not to mention, like, what's crazy is the gap between that game and 7, because 7 was the first one they did 3D, so they did polygons, but they still did, like, a two-dimensional top-down. Yeah. But the difference between 6 and 7 is like a world of difference in terms
Absolutely.
in terms of games. So to me, 6 was the epitome of pixel 8-bit, sprite-based RPG.
And come on, how many RPGs did you play where the bad guy won? His nefarious plot won.
Yep, it works.
And the heroes had to rewrite the entire world again. That was incredible.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot of ports of Final Fantasy VI. It's been ported to the PlayStation. It's been ported to the GBA, and it had some extra content. But I want to see a full-blown remake, 3D remake. Because on the DS, we got Final Fantasy IV 3D remake. I played it. It was awesome. I want to see that same treatment for Final Fantasy VI, and I want to see it on the 3DS.
I think we all do. But do you think they could do a 3D remake of it?
Well, with the resources Square has been putting toward the Final Fantasy VII remake, not to mention Final Fantasy 15 and Kingdom Hearts 3, it might be a little too much of a daunting task for them, but given what's on their plate right now. But
I'm not talking about.
Well, I think what he's talking about is that, like, when you're talking, going Final Fantasy VII into Final Fantasy VII, like remastered, you've already got those elements of this is what Cloud looks like in 3D. And we just have to make him look prettier, as opposed to this is Cecil in his little.
Well, it's an interesting question because the
pixel
pixel.
Make him brah.
Yeah, the pixels did look different from the original concept. Are definitely like Locke, for instance. Looks way different.
Well, you have Yoshitaka Amano that's basically drawing these amazing portraits of all the characters, and I look at this sprite that's probably like 72 pixels, and I'm like, that looks right.
Yeah, but don't fart on those sprites though, because those sprites had charm and they were great.
Oh, I'm not saying that. But if we're
more.
talking about bringing that into the public eye right now,
that's true.
They're going to have to turn that into something.
And that's my question.
I think they could do that. They did it with Final Fantasy IV, because those characters were 3D sprites, and we've seen Terra and Kefka in Dissidia Final Fantasy, the fighting game series on the PSP. So they can do it. I think they absolutely can. What I kind of want to see. Final Fantasy IV kind of got a sequel treatment. It was called The After Years. I would like to see something.
Wasn't good.
Yes, unfortunately, I do hear bad things about that.
Yeah.
But to your point, the idea is solid.
I think maybe and even if you didn't want to go after your achievement with Final Fantasy VI, maybe like a playable epilogue, like Lunar 2. And that'll be one for another edition.
Yeah, for sure. Lunar 2 needs to be talked about because people have forgotten that. And working design, what the hell, man? Where are you, working design? We need you. You're our only hope.
Oh, and I'm just going to
Square is garbage. Squeenix is lost. They are no longer a good company.
You know what would bring them back around to me, though? Now that, thanks to the fact that Cloud is in Smash Brothers, Nintendo Square play it nice, give me Mario RPG 2.
Yes.
I will
dude.
forgive everything.
Oh
Dude,
my goodness.
Yes, I was about to say that. I need to see Malo and Gino again.
Yes. I mean, okay. Now,
I need them back on my
that
team.
being said, Paper Mario is excellent. It's
Oh,
an
yeah, and
excellent
so are the
game.
Mario and Luigi
Yeah,
games. They're
but-
very good.
But they're only successors to Mario RPG versus an actual sequel.
Indeed.
Yeah, and now that Square and Nintendo have some kind of licensing deal with that,
Somehow, they're on good terms somehow again.
yeah, I mean, hell, give us a Mario
But back
RPG.
to, yeah, but back to
Yeah,
the
back to
topic. just to quickly sum up. 3D Final Fantasy VI remake, make it happen.
Yes.
It's like
Square.
3D Final Fantasy VI. Great. Mario.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes, Mario afterwards, or even at the same time. Give us them a couple months apart if you wish.
But let's be honest here. You know you can make money that way, but you know also that it would take too much work. I dare you to make it. Stop this cell phone garbage. Stop this Final Fantasy, all the heroes, where you buy random packs of people for $1, and the game is literally click, click, attack, click, click, click. What has happened to you? If anyone proposed that game to you, even as a Nintendo game, back in the Dragon Warrior days, you would have laughed them out of the office. Pull the people back that made the beauty that was the original Final Fantasy franchise, and give them tons of money to make a 3D remake of Final Fantasy VI, and we'll show you profits. Sorry, I just freaking hate where Square Enix has come from. Or has gone.
Sure. Benjamin.
Yes. I'm in this show too. So with the release of Battlefront, I think we all agree that Battlefront is
Star Wars.
it's
Battlefront.
really
Star Wars
pretty.
Battlefront, yeah.
Yes. And I found myself liking the starship levels a lot, the starfighter levels a lot. And it really made me think back to who remembers Rogue Squadron? And Rogue Leader and all the Rogue series. It was wonderful. Mm-hmm. And I think that with the advances that we've made in imagery and with the new elements of online multiplayer, I mean, come on. That's definitely a way that we could go and have some good gameplay and some fun moments. And not just that, is that you can give us a game that if you don't want to play multiplayer, which I'm not always a fan of, you can play single missions. And it's more than just blow random crap up until you get lots of points. You can actually have a story-based mission that matters. We can have more ships than just X-Wings and A-Wings. I mean, who wants to fly a B-Wing?
Yeah,
anyone?
hands down.
I do.
Well, and think about this. We may have lost the expanded universe, which did inform some of the later Rogue games, but we're also getting plenty of new things. Could you think about adding Clone Wars things to a new Rogue Squadron? Could you think of adding things from Rebels? Getting to fly the Ghost, for example. There's all sorts of new material that could flesh out a new Rogue game.
Easily.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I think that one of the biggest enjoyment, like Ben was saying, about the new Battlefront is the space stuff. And it's a shame because the space stuff is all on these smaller maps. If it was more like the original Battlefront and you were actually in space, it would be more like Rogue Squadron. But without that being there, you literally have a complete new game you could make with just the same physics.
Well, yeah, I mean, I was looking at at Battlefront 2, you get to have those deep space moments, and I can take a bomber up against your Star Destroyer.
Yeah.
I can pilot a Y-Wing against your Star Destroyer. And in the new Battlefront, all we really get to do are these atmospheric missions with ground targets,
which is still awesome.
It's
but
so fun, but I mean, give me something deep space.
Yeah.
Give me something a lot more epic. Give me more. Just give me more.
Ship-to-ship raids, dogfighting, bombing runs. We have infiltration missions where you can infiltrate certain bases. That's the essence of Rogue Squadron, and honestly, it's totally missing out of Battlefront. And with the way Battlefront plays now, it just makes everyone want a new Rogue Squadron game.
Well, and I've got to say, thinking about some of the rumors that are swirling around about Episode 7 right now, too, I'm thinking a Starkiller base and some of the things that we might see in this movie, that there are so many settings that could be exploited in this new game.
For sure.
Absolutely.
The Wii gave us Excite Truck and Excite Bots, but no, I want ExciteBike back, and I thought of some ways that it could work. racing was the big part in ExciteBike. You could bring back the racing and have the jumps and the ramps and everything.
And you have to be able to trick the other guys.
Yes.
Maybe a button to kind of, just throw an elbow or a punch. I don't know.
Kick. Hello.
Kick, indeed.
Yeah.
Put a little road rash in it. Why not?
Hey, road rash is not what we can talk about, but continue.
But with the ramps and the jumps, it made me think of another racing game on the Super Nintendo that was very stunt dependent, and that was Uniracers. So yes, Uniracer style racing. Do stunts, go faster. I think that'd be great. And you could add some freestyle segments, whether it's you just ride up a ramp and try and do a massive trick. Some Tony Hawk style freestyle. Because I will admit, I enjoyed the first couple Tony Hawk games.
Everyone did.
Most people did back when the franchise was solid.
Yeah,
So-
you throw in a good soundtrack, you're rock solid.
So, yeah, you could have freestyle elements in ExciteBike. You can use that to earn points or money or however kind of currency you want to make and customize your bike for the next race. I think
Genius.
lots of replayability in that.
Because you look at what's successful right now in terms of the racing community, freaking Rocket League has taken off. It was a free-to-play game that the developers didn't really think would be as popular as it is, and now everyone's playing it, and it's just cars playing soccer. That's it. That's the whole premise. But you can do flips and tricks, and it's fun. And that's the thing. You give anyone a game that's just fun to operate, people will play it. And I think that's what you're getting at here. Give us a racing game, and unlike Need for Speed and all that stuff that's coming out right now.
Gran
give us
Turismo
Gran
Forza
Turismo,
or something.
which those are great games, but they're great in their own right. Whereas the arcade ones, the classics of the past, they're just fun to operate.
F-Zero.
Yes,
F-Zero,
thank you.
yeah.
Let's talk about these some other time, because ExciteBike is the epitome of those types of games, and that's really what it captured when it came on the Nintendo. If you released it now and you put in the ability to do tricks to make yourself go faster, freestyle mode just to do a bunch of tricks to get currency, and maybe throw in like a Rocket League-esque thing for multiplayer, it would be Nintendo is sitting on a freaking gold mine there.
Well, and it was tried too. In the PS3 generation, Sony tried with the Mod Nation Racers game, which was kind of like Little Big Planet, but it was a kart racing game.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it didn't take off very well. It was an interesting concept. But with Nintendo's success with Mario Maker creating a streamlined interface for doing that sort of level creation, I bet they could do it for ExciteBike.
Oh, for sure. And not to mention that Nintendo has a hardcore fan base. What it boils
To
down
say the least,
To say
yeah.
the least, yeah. If Nintendo announces a new IP, look at Splatoon. People bought that game not even know what it was going to be, and it was hugely successful. But, same here. But when Nintendo releases something new from an older IP, and they show that they've kind of put a spin on it, it's pretty much always successful financially. And ExciteBike has a huge area to capture with that. So anyway, I think that's a great
High
idea.
nostalgia factor, definitely.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah.
All right, I think we got time for one more, guys. Ben, you have another one you'd like to see brought back, and talking to us about it earlier, I think it's one we'd all like to see bring back. So go ahead, lead us in.
I just want them to stop talking about it and actually give us DarkStalkers.
That would be nice.
Back when the rumor that was floating around coming in on the Street Fighter 4 end,
Oh,
that
yeah.
would have been great.
DarkStalkers. Like, well, here's Felicia and Morgan in your Marvelverse. No, there's the whole game. They come from a whole
game, yeah.
There's lots of characters
Yeah.
and fighters in it, and you
Classic
can play
horror movie
all
monster
of them.
filtered through the weirdness of Japanese anime and manga.
No,
which is
absolutely.
great. Yeah.
Like,
Especially for
I
a fighting
don't
game,
want to fight
yeah.
Morgan with like a Wolfman guy or a crazy like Rockstar Skeleton Man. No, I want to play the 57th version of Street Fighter 4. That's what I want to play. I want to rebuy the same game that I have 80 times over, but with slightly different mechanics and a new fighter. Who the hell cares? Really?
Yeah.
Really? At this point, I don't need a goofy luchador or whoever the hell it is from Australia that you just threw together at the last second to make a new game. No. They brought back Killer Instinct. Okay? Killer Instinct got a revival.
Yeah, and
They're gonna
successfully, I should add.
They're gonna
Yeah,
make
quite
another,
successfully, from
Yeah.
what I understand.
they'll make another Primal Rage before they remake DarkStalkers.
Which is a shame because a lot of the characters from DarkStalkers are loved and known very well through various outlets that aren't DarkStalkers.
And very
That's-
creative, too.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
There's a whole lot of memorable characters from DarkStalkers. Felicia and Morgan have been mentioned.
Frank.
But the only reason
Queen
anyone
Bee.
cares about those is because boobs.
Yeah,
That's
that's true.
really, come on.
Help me out. Who's the werewolf? Who's also like a kung fu
John
master?
Talbane.
Yeah.
John
Thank
Talbane,
you.
dude.
Thank you,
Not to mention Dimitri the Vampire.
Dimitri the
The super buff Dracula.
The super
There
He's super buff Dracula.
There's like a little short, dumpy, abominable snowman guy. And
There was
The Mummy.
There was a.
That on the American cartoon was really, really dumb.
And a carrot.
Bangy bangy.
Ooh, pretty horn. By the light of the great god Rudamega, you are mine. Toot toot.
That show was garbage. Never watch it.
Bring back DarkStalkers.
The
See how
giant
much we
robot.
love it? We shouldn't have to wait for that. We should not have to wait for people to do a Kickstarter.
That's my
to get
point.
a better
Yeah.
Banjo-Kazooie.
That's my point.
No. Studios with giant amounts of money,
Yeah.
just make... No.
And for
So Microsoft, if you let Banjo-Kazooie be in Smash, I mean, if Cloud got it, I'm just putting that out there.
oh, that would be amazing.
Dude, screw that. I want a Banjo-Kazooie where I collect puzzle pieces
Yeah,
and,
everyone
and do
does.
horrible things
Everyone
to a goofy
does.
witch.
Yes, everyone does.
Yeah.
All right.
Well done.
Now this now obviously there were a lot of games that we didn't touch on, so this we will probably revisit this topic sometime in the future. But in the meantime, let us know what you thought. What did you think about the games we talked about? What did you think we missed? Just go ahead and leave a comment below.
Yeah, would you like to see these games? Comment below. What other games would you like to see? Comment below. Let us know.
Did you hate all of our faces? Comment below.
Yeah, if you know
Yes.
someone that works at Capcom and they want to write us really angry letters, comment below.
Is your boss giving you a hard time? You need the vent? Comment below.
Anyone wants to hear what Ben's voice sounds like when he's not near death?
Comment below.
So with that,
Does anyone have any prescriptions Ben can take? You
I
can
know,
email
right?
them. Yeah.
Click the like button and please, guys, subscribe. Because we have so much cool stuff coming and
Always around the corner.
we want you to see it.
And remember, guys, we are Geek Epiphany. Thank you for watching.
Toot toot.
Capcom, I got something to tell you right now. Listen to me now. All right, Street Fighter V, here's what you need to do. Don't pull the Super Street Fighter V bullshit. Release Street Fighter V free. Yes, free. But then everything is a microtransaction. You want a new character? $2. You want that character to have a new costume? $2. You want new background music? $1. You want a character pack? Alright, I want these 6 characters that you would have released in Street Fighter 2. Charge $10. I know it sounds crazy, but guess what? Everyone is not buying Ultimate Street Fighter Hyper Turbo 5 because they're sick of it. They want 5 new characters. They don't give a crap. But if you give it all to them for free and you charge them for every little freaking thing for nickel and dime, I mean, it's going to be successful. And if you don't believe me, Dota 2 and freaking League of Legends.
One of the things that would have been a shoe-in for our Retro Revival episode would have been Mega Man, but, you guys couldn't handle that one in-house. So,
Yeah, do you want to know who did handle it, though? Freaking Nintendo! Have you played Smash Brothers? They put him in a fighting game, and it plays better than any Mega Man game that's come out. Oh, wait, that's right. None have!